Welcome back to the Rock and Turner Investment Podcast. We're excited to have you join us for another episode filled with valuable insights and expert analysis to help shape all of your investment decisions.
All right, so welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at what makes businesses truly stand out. And it's not just about being like a little bit better than the competition, you know?
Right.
It's about being fundamentally different. So this idea of counter-positioning, what is that all about?
Well, counterpositioning is this strategy. It can really shake things up in entire industries instead of just trying to outdo the competition by being just a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Counterpositioning is about creating a business model that's completely different, something that competitors just can't copy easily, even if they see it coming.
Okay, so not just another slightly better burger joint.
Exactly. The article uses restaurants as an example. Think about it. A new place opens up. They promise they've got the best pizza, the best burgers, whatever. But haven't we seen that before? Like how many times? Right.
Yeah.
There's always another one just waiting to pop up. Just doing it better often isn't enough for real lasting success.
You're so right. It's like a revolving door of businesses.
It really is.
So how does this counter-positioning thing break that cycle?
Okay, well, imagine a business
Yeah.
that flips the script completely.
Okay.
It targets the weaknesses of the existing players and offers something so unique it just throws them off balance. That's counterpositioning.
Okay, I'm starting to get it, I think.
Yeah.
But can you give me a real-world example?
Oh, absolutely. Think Blockbuster versus Netflix. You remember those late fees that made Blockbuster so much money? Well, Netflix swooped in with no late fees and DVDs by mail. They attacked Blockbuster's main way of making money with a system Blockbuster couldn't copy easily.
So it's not just about being a little bit cheaper or a bit more convenient. It's about like exploiting a weakness in the competitor's model.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
It's about strategically targeting the Achilles heel of whoever is already out there.
Yeah.
But the Netflix story doesn't stop there. They didn't just disrupt Blockbuster once. They did it again.
Right? Remember those little red envelopes?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I used to love getting those in the mail.
Right.
But then streaming took over.
Right, and Netflix was ready for it. They saw the potential of broadband internet early on and made that bold move to streaming. Blockbuster tried to catch up, but it was too late.
Wow. So they didn't just disrupt. They anticipated the future and adapted.
Yeah.
They were like chess grandmasters, thinking several moves ahead.
That is a fantastic way to put it. Netflix's success wasn't just luck. They spotted a customer pain point: late fees. And they took advantage of a shift in technology, broadband internet, and they were willing to adapt and evolve. This brings us to another really interesting aspect of counterpositioning. It often involves what we call democratizing access.
Okay, democratizing access. What does that mean? Making something that was once exclusive or expensive available to everyone.
Yes, exactly. Like Netflix made movie rentals cheaper and easier to get.
Yeah.
And there are other great examples too, like Amazon Web Services or AWS. They totally changed the game for cloud computing.
Okay, tell me more about AWS and how it fits into this whole counter-positioning thing.
So before AWS, if you were a business that needed serious computing power, you had to deal with companies like Oracle, and they sold super expensive hardware and software for data centers, big upfront costs, long-term contracts, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Not exactly friendly to startups or smaller companies.
Oh, not at all. So AWS came along and offered a different approach.
They did. They basically said, forget those massive upfront costs and rigid contracts. We'll give you access to powerful cloud computing resources on a pay-as-you-go basis. It was a radical shift. They made enterprise-level computing affordable and accessible to companies that could never have even dreamed of affording Oracle's solutions before.
Wow, that's pretty disruptive.
Yeah.
So they kind of like democratized access to powerful computing resources.
Yeah.
Like they leveled the playing field for businesses of all sizes.
That's a great way to put it. And they tapped into a concept called value innovation.
Okay, value innovation. I like it. Tell me more about that.
It's about offering a new combination of price performance and accessibility that the existing players just can't match. It's not just about being cheaper, it's about creating a whole new value proposition that really resonates with customers.
I see. This is making me think about all those businesses that pop up and try to be just a slightly better version of what's already out there. They seem like they're missing the point.
They often are. They're playing the same game, just with slightly better graphics, so to speak. They haven't grasped the power of being fundamentally different.
Right, so counterpositioning is like rewriting the rules of the game. But is it a one-time thing? Can a business just rest on its laurels after they've pulled off a successful counterpositioning move?
That is such a great question. And it leads us to another really important point. Even disruptors can get disrupted.
But you mean even the companies that successfully use counterpositioning to shake up their industry can find themselves on the other side of the equation?
Exactly. Even the most innovative companies, they need to stay agile. They need to adapt to new challenges and new innovations. Think of Uber, for example.
Uber, they're facing challenges. I thought they were unstoppable.
Well, they were incredibly disruptive.
Right.
For sure. They changed the way we think about transportation, but now they're facing the rise of robotaxis.
Yes. Self-driving
Yeah.
cars. That's a whole new ballgame, isn't it? So how is Uber dealing with this potential disruption? Did they try to develop their own self-driving technology?
They did it first, but they ended up switching to a different strategy. They realized that competing directly with companies like Waymo or Aurora in the autonomous vehicle space might not be their best move, so they sold their self-driving unit to Aurora, but they kept an equity stake. Now they're focusing on becoming a platform that brings together various robotaxi services.
Oh, interesting. So instead of trying to beat the new disruptors at their own game, they're embracing them and changing their model. That's pretty smart.
It is. It shows they're not afraid to change course.
Right.
And recognize when a new technology has the potential to completely reshape things. And it highlights a crucial lesson for everyone, not just businesses.
Oh, what's that?
Even if you've been really successful in the past, you just can't afford to get complacent. You need to always be looking ahead, anticipating future trends, and be willing to adapt to stay ahead of the curve. Think about the industries you're familiar with. What changes might be on the horizon? Who is positioning themselves to benefit from those changes?
This is really making me think. You're right. Just because something is successful today doesn't mean it'll be successful tomorrow.
Exactly. And that brings us back to a point we touched on earlier, the importance of focusing on what customers need. A lot of businesses get caught up in what they want to do, not what customers actually need.
Yeah, you mean like those restaurants that open up with a menu full of dishes they love to cook, but that don't really appeal to what people in the neighborhood actually want to eat.
That's a perfect example. They're focused on their own passion, not on solving a problem for the customer.
Right. So how does a company like Amazon avoid falling into that trap? They seem to be pretty good at figuring out what customers want.
They are, and it goes back to their customer-centric approach. Take AWS, for example. Jeff Bezos didn't start AWS because he was so passionate about cloud computing itself. He saw that businesses were struggling with the cost and complexity of managing their own IT infrastructure, and he saw a need.
So he wasn't a tech geek who's obsessed with servers and data centers. He was solving a problem for customers.
Exactly. And that customer centricity extends to other Amazon innovations as well, like e-commerce and the Kindle. Think about it. E-commerce made shopping more convenient, the Kindle made books more accessible, and AWS simplified IT infrastructure.
It all comes back to solving problems for customers. It's about finding a niche where you can apply those skills in a way that really sets you apart.
That's the idea. It's about really understanding the needs of the market and positioning yourself to meet those needs in a way that other people just aren't doing. It's about understanding that the world is constantly in flux. And the people who are willing to adapt, innovate, and think differently, those are the ones who are going to thrive. You know, the future belongs to those who are willing to challenge the present. So go out there, explore, experiment, and see what incredible things you can create.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep thinking differently.
We really hope that you enjoyed today's podcast, but we really only scratched the surface. If you want to explore any of the themes discussed in more detail, see the show notes or visit us at rockandturner.substack.com. Oh, one more thing. Be sure to like the episode, share it with others, and save it to your favorites so that you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, we wish you every success with your investments.